What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the best knife sharpener on the market today, at least in my experience. And I've kind of narrowed it down to these two here, the Worksharp Field Sharpener and the Worksharp Precision Adjust. I'm not affiliated with Worksharp in any way, but I really think these two are some of the best sharpeners that you can buy on the market for your money. I know there's some other companies like Wicked Edge that have really high quality sharpeners, but they're, as the name would suggest, wicked expensive as well. So these are very budget friendly, not crazy expensive, and you will very easily be able to get a shaving sharp knife with both of these. Now, the Precision Adjust has two upgraded models. This is the basic models. This one's 60 bucks. The Field Sharpener is, I think, 30 or 35 bucks now. I'm not sure what it's at now, but I want to say it's around 35 bucks. And there's no, as far as I know, there's no upgrades for this. It's just kind of what it is. But we'll start off with the Precision Adjust, one of my more recent purchases. And as you can see by how dirty the ceramic stone is, I've got a lot of use out of it already. And it makes it really easy as somebody who is not maybe the best at holding an angle or not the best at sharpening to hold that consistent angle as you're moving along the edge of the knife. So we'll start out by showing you how it works here. And then we'll talk about some of the pros and cons. So you're gonna take your knife, just generic cold steel SRK is what I've got laying next to me. Take your knife, fix it in these little clamps here, and you'll twist the clamps tight to kind of lock it in place. And you'll basically take you have three stones in here. So you have the coarse stone, a little bit more fine stone, and ceramic honing strip. And basically you just take it along the blade and shuffle along the blade, feel a burr, and then you can flip the knife over, do the same thing on the other side. So that's kind of just how it works. And then you can change the angle here, so get the exact angle that you want, which is pretty cool. Again, it makes it easy to select your edge angle, get it precise, get it exact, and hold that angle the entire time you're sharpening. So super easy. I've put some great edges on some of my knives here. The cold steel SRK, you can kind of see, maybe not the most clean sharpening job, but you can see the edge does really stand out quite nicely. So love the Precision Adjust so far. Now, there are some cons to it that I want to talk about that maybe I could fix, but I have not gotten around to fixing yet. But we'll start off with the wobble in the top part here where the sharpener is kind of held in place and holds the angle. And I think a lot of other people talk about this too. And it's not a huge issue. You can still absolutely get a sharp knife on here, but it's not going to be that mirror polish, super good looking edge. But again, you'll be able to get a very nice working edge with just this. That's not an issue. But if you really want to make it precise, what I do is when I'm sharpening, I hold the top here while I'm going, so this doesn't wobble. You'll see the screw kind of wobbles in place when you're moving back and forth. And so that's kind of gonna mess up some of the exact precision when it comes to putting an edge on your knife. Again, not gonna be that huge of an issue. It's still functional, but that's something that is a little bit difficult to deal with. You know, if you're really going along a long knife, it can kind of moderately change up. Or sometimes what I've noticed, if I'm sharpening for a really long time, the screw will just come down a little bit. And that's a little bit difficult. So you got to keep an eye on that and make sure you're not losing, you know, you start at 22.5 and then end up at 20 somehow. So if you just kind of hold this in place, that's great. Again, I go back to the guy named, I don't know what his name is, but Cutting Board Reviews on YouTube. He has a great video about how to modify this to make sure that doesn't happen. And he'll take a zip tie and wrap it kind of along there in that little top part of the screw where there's no thread. And that'll just lock it in place. And then he'll also take another one and lock this other side in place. And so I'm definitely gonna do that. I haven't got around to doing it yet, but great modification, and you don't have to spend money on the upgraded version. Another issue is the rattle in here. So we see that. And that comes from a lot of things. You have a plastic base. So some of the upgraded models I think have a metal base or one that you can fix onto a workbench or something. But this one is just standard plastic. It just clips into place here. You can see how it clips in right there. And so you're gonna inevitably get some wobble there just because it's not super exact. So not a huge issue. Again, it's not going to stop you from being able to sharpen and get an edge that you want, but that's a little bit difficult to deal with. So just another con. And finally, what I have found to be something that's a little bit frustrating is, and honestly, I did not realize this, that they made this on the, I think it's the professional version. So the expensive version, $250 version, they came up with a solution to not being able to fit more narrow blade shapes in here. So we have this Microtech Ultratech right here, kind of a smaller blade, maybe not lengthwise, but body of the blade wise. And when I put this in here, you'll see, let me just, so if I want to put a lower edge onto this Ultratech, it's going to hit, see how the stone is going to come in contact with the bar here. And you can see I've actually got some sharpening unintentionally on that little metal clamp. But if I continue to lower the angle, you'll see that it really is not hitting the blade and it's just hitting the stone right there. So I have a lot of case knives, which is just another example of a smaller blade, and you can't really get an edge on the case knives just because the sharpening stone won't reach because the angle's too low and it'll be hitting this clamp. So that's something that's a little bit frustrating, but for fixed blades and other larger blades, you know, I just have like my grip tillion here. It works fine for that, but that is something that I would have liked to see fixed in the cheaper model because it's very difficult to sharpen smaller knives on this. So that's another big negative. However, this thing is really, really, really great for, again, if you're not super experienced with stones, you don't spend a lot of money on nice diamond stones, being able to put an exact angle that you want on a knife and really make it precise is awesome. So I've really enjoyed using this. I had a lot of fun with it. I've sharpened pretty much all my knives and put a 22-degree angle on all of them, and it's been a lot of fun to just kind of hang out and do that. And it's really effortless. You don't have to be, I feel like when I'm using a stone, I really have to be focused and holding the exact edge. You don't really have to focus that much with this. You just put it on and go to town on the edge. So it's been really nice. I really like the precision adjust. Again, there's some minor upgrades, and go check out that cutting board reviews video. I'll link it below and watch some of the mods that he does so you don't have to get the upgraded models. Now there might still be some reason for you to get the nicer models. I don't know, I don't have them, but honestly, just in terms of putting a really nice edge on your knife, if that's all you're looking to do, this is more than enough to be able to do that. So I would recommend those zip ties, but go check out his video. I don't want to tell you everything that he talked about. So we'll move on now to the Field Sharpener, which is another awesome sharpening product. Again, just coincidentally by Worksharp, they do a great job there. And this has pretty much everything you need, especially as a beginner, in a $30 or $35-ish package to get a razor sharp edge on a knife. This was one of the first sharpeners I think that I ever bought. Maybe just some cheap stones from Home Depot or something, but this was the first really specifically designed for pocket knife sharpener that I ever got. And it's got a nice coarse stone on the top, less coarse on the bottom, honing rod and leather strop, which is really the reason that I was drawn to this, the leather strop. And that is another negative with the precision adjust, although it doesn't really make that much of a difference. It doesn't come with a leather strap, so you're gonna have to find a way to strap. Otherwise, you don't really have to do that, again, in order to get a sharp knife, but it is kind of nice to have that option on the Field Sharpener. And now basically what you're gonna wanna do with this is you're just gonna take your knife. You have a 20-degree edge guide right here. You're gonna rest it on here. You don't have to, but it makes it easy. You rest it on there, just drag it, do your passes, flip it over, do the same thing. You have 20 degrees. And then I think it's 25-degree on here. It's either 25 or 15 degree. I'm not entirely sure. On this ceramic rod to put a micro bevel on your knife, you'll just rest on there. It's probably 25-degree. You'll just rest on there, and then finally just touch it up with a strop like so. So it's super easy, kind of dummy proof on the Field Sharpener. It makes it super easy for you to learn how to sharpen. This is what I recommend to beginners. I think it's 35 bucks, so it's cheaper than pretty much most decent knives on the market today anyways. And you'll be able to really make your tools and knives last much longer and take care of them. So I think the Field Sharpener is fantastic. Now, what are some of the cons with the Field Sharpener? Again, with the larger blades, so kind of the opposite of the precision adjust. The larger blades, it takes a lot more focus to really drag along the stone, because you don't have that much meat to the stone here. It's a pretty small stone in terms of, you know, just a standard whetstone or diamond stone or whatever it may be. It's a little bit small. So you'll see if I'm dragging this knife along here, I really have to go more to the side than I can make a pass. So it might take a little bit longer to sharpen some larger knives. I don't really sharpen knives that are this big on here anymore, just because it's such a pain. But in terms of everything else, you know, for the smaller stuff, just like I mentioned before, the Ultratech, super easy. So not so bad with the smaller stuff, but if you're looking for kitchen knives or any other larger outdoor fixed blades and stuff, will absolutely be able to do it on here, but you might want to look at something that's a little bit bigger or longer that, you know, will make it easier for you to do that in the long term. It will save you some headache, but it's really not that big of an issue. That is probably honestly the only thing that I have bad to say about the Field Sharpener. I think this thing is awesome. Again, for the price, you really, really cannot beat it. I've had this for a long time. It's got a lot of use, as you can see. Again, I probably should clean the ceramic stone, but I haven't. Other thing about these two is you can pop them off. So I think you can buy replacement stones for them. You just pop it off here. It's magnetic. I actually recently learned that. I didn't even know that until I saw somebody do it on a video. So pretty cool. I'm pretty sure you can buy replacement stones. You really don't need to. I mean, I've used this a ton. It's got beat up pretty bad, and it's still working just fine. So out of both of these two, I think if I was going to recommend these to somebody, I think I would probably take the Field Sharpener, just because it's so versatile and it comes with everything you need. You have the strap, you have the stones and stuff, and you can take it anywhere, super cheap. But that does not mean that the Precision Adjust is a bad sharpener. This is absolutely, you know, tied for first, probably second best sharpener that I recommend. It's just more for, you know, larger pocket knives, and it's going to be a little bit less versatile for everybody than the Field Sharpener. Now, that being said, it's $60, so you can get both of these for under $100, which is really, really cool. You don't need to be spending a ton of money on a sharpener. There are lots of really, really nice sharpeners out there. The Spyderco Sharp Maker is another great one. I know Wicked Edge makes some great products. I don't have any experience with them. I have a couple just generic stones from Home Depot. There's I think Lansky has some pretty cool stuff. But as far as beyond the pull through sharpeners that will destroy your knife and just rip off a bunch of material from the blade, the $35 that you will spend on this will last you a very, very long time, and it will make sure that you have a very sharp edge whenever you need it. So I think it's great. I think it's absolutely worth spending money on a knife sharpener. I think this is probably the best one for your money that you can buy today. This one, again, not that much more expensive, and it will give you a really, really sharp edge. It's a lot of fun if you're super into pocket knives, but if you're just looking for something that's going to sharpen your knives, tools, kitchen knives, whatever, I think the Field Sharpener is going to be, you know, your all-around go-to option. So let me know what other sharpeners are out there. I don't know, you know, this is pretty much what I have experience with, just because I've loved these so much. I haven't got out in the world and tried a bunch of other ones. I had a Sharp Maker for a little while, and returned it just because I thought it did the same thing that these do. But that was a great product as well. It just wasn't really what I needed. So check that one out too. I know that one's a little bit pricier. I think that's like, at this point, $90, which is kind of crazy, but I know they go on sale for Black Friday and stuff, just like these will. So shop around. Think you can get these pretty much at any major knife retailer. I think they have them on Amazon. I'm not sure. I'll have to look through, and I can put links and stuff to make it easier for you to shop. But again, let me know, let everybody else know what your go-to sharpener is, how you sharpen your knives, how you keep stuff maintained. I'd love to hear it. As always, thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I really, really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.